Okay, right now I feel really angry and I don't feel ready, and I start to wonder if I find excuses and like not doing this video because I feel we already want to do it for some time, and maybe I'm such a perfectionist, and I feel I want the setting to be perfect, I want the location to be perfect, I want the lighting to be perfect, I want there no wind so I don't have hair in my mouth the whole time. I want to create this environment where we feel safe, where we feel like I don't want people there. And I see like I put again like all these expectations and pressure because I feel like I just want it to be perfect, where in reality I know it's just unfolding in a moment.
Also, every single time we've talked about doing this video, we've also said that we're scared of doing it.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. For me, I think expectations and wanting things to be perfect is sometimes me wanting to control something that I feel like I don't have a lot of control over.
And this is a beautiful bridge to our topic for today.
What is our topic for today, Paulina?
Our topic for today is our breakup.
Our breakup? You mean the one that was the best thing that could have ever happened to us?
Yeah, we wanna share and we wanna talk about why breaking up was actually the best thing, the best decision we have made in the past month, I would say. I think it's so beautiful what you just said, and yeah, it gives us the illusion of control and like just wanting to control a certain situation or have the power over something, about something which in reality cannot be controlled. And I think this is so true for love and for relationships, because relationships cannot be controlled. And this is one lesson we are learning right now.
Yeah. I came into our relationship wanting to control our relationship, but I also wanted our relationship to control the uncertainty in my life. And I wanted my relationship to be exactly the way that I wanted it to be, the way I envisioned it to be, so that I could take control over something, because in a lot of ways I felt like my life was requiring so much surrender of control for a lot of ways, you know, vagabond musician. And I wanted to control something. I see that now.
Yes, I love maybe for us to go back a little bit to the beginning. Because we started our relationship from a place of love, but there came a lot of expectations with it, because we had actually, or we still have, like this perfect romantic love story around just our connection, and we just knew each other for 2 weeks, and after that we had contact online over the phone. At this time, just knowing each other for 4 weeks without even having kissed each other before ever, we had already put the expectations on us that you are the person I want to spend the rest of my life with. And in order to allow two people to get to know each other is a really heavy starting point or a thing to carry.
I think you said it perfectly, that if you actually want to see someone, it's almost like you can't see them because the expectations are so thick and so heavy. It's like you just put a big blanket over the relationship and you're like, oh, this will make us safe, but also you can't see what's happening. You can't see the other person. They don't have the space to unfold authentically.
Yes, because we started then to see each other like through this expectation, like through this reality, and putting both like in super different ways a lot of pressure on one another, because what you were saying, we didn't try to control our relationship, but we wanted to hold on to this illusion that it's you forever, because we were both really scared. We were both really scared.
I was really scared.
Feeling alone again, for feeling that your love is conditioned, that this will be taken away from you. So we were trying, like, with everything we thought in our control, to hold on to this, to receive the guarantee that we will not lose it. But what happened in reality is that we just like distance ourselves.
Yeah. I want to say that I think part of the reason I felt so scared is because I just had never felt so seen and so understood by someone and so accepted completely and unconditionally. And wow, it just felt so amazing. And I feel like in that moment where I felt such enormous unconditional love, there came one of my greatest fears of losing that feeling. It's like losing the thing that you've been searching for your entire life. And if you get it from a place of, I finally found it and this is the thing, then of course you're gonna kill yourself protecting it. And yeah, I think that was the mentality that I had personally. I had finally made it.
Yeah, those are things we are aware now, obviously, in retrospective, and in conclusions we now draw over the time. But I think it would be really good if we could explain a little bit more what happened, what we mean with this distance, because we were both operating in a place from fear, but as I said earlier, like both of us in such individual ways. And I've personally, like for myself, I had this huge transformation where I, for the first time, felt I was with someone who was showing me so much my triggers and my wounds from my childhood. I felt they were coming through in such an intensity they had never been before. And I needed to learn or understand first that the story I created, or was in a way part of me, is not what identifies me. And what was happening as well was a lot of projection. Like I projected so many of my fears just on you and on our relationship, and it didn't allow me to see what was there in the moment. It didn't allow me to see at times the love we felt for each other, and I was just acting from places of fear. And I see, like, I have compassion for this part, because this part didn't know better, and it was also just trying to keep me safe. So it is important for me that I don't want to judge it, and I was like, oh, this is wrong and I should have done it like differently. But it definitely like led me into a place where I was behaving really destructively, because I think in the end this is what fear does. It destroys. Like in the long term, it destroys.
I want to acknowledge that these things needed to happen. Like, just like the breakup needed to happen, these things needed to happen for us to learn, for both of us. And I recognize that definitely for me. And I see that also parts of myself that I'd never looked at before were coming out in my relationship with you. You could call them shadows, just parts that hadn't been listened to and received with love and forever, but jealousy. In the way you were saying you're destructive, I was acting very self-destructive, and that I was completely abandoning myself in an attempt to control our relationship, to keep you around, this fear of abandonment, that in trying to avoid myself from this story of being abandoned, or even being like emotionally abandoned, like you becoming absent, I was willing to completely abandon myself, my needs, not hold space for myself. And I had never experienced this before. So much willingness to lose myself, to forget myself, to sacrifice myself. And this feeling like it was justified. Even that you or our relationship wanted or would be benefited by me sacrificing myself. We're just these stories that were running rampant, I feel like, on my side of our relationship.
Yeah, and I feel we're just like led into this, it felt like a dead end, kind of. Felt like we were so deep inside of it, and it was so paradox because we could, under all these things happening, we could still see how much we love each other, but it also felt a bit that we didn't know how to get out of it.
Yeah. I know for me, I just felt so trapped. And I remember multiple conversations that I had with my friend. I know things have to change. They can't continue like this, but I need options that are not breaking up, because I was so afraid to break up, and I was also so sure, like never for a moment did I doubt my intense love for you. And so in that way, I definitely felt trapped, like I was at a dead end. Like I didn't know how to protect myself. I didn't know how to protect us and myself in the same motion, in the same action. I thought that they were separate, that they were different.
Yeah, and I could see that, because then actually what happened, I mean, we talked about this, and this was also interesting. It was another sign, but I feel this is a complete another topic I don't want to go too deeply into, because for me it felt more than that you actually made a decision and you broke up with me, whereas for you it also felt it was more because we were having like one last phone call, which was really difficult.
Yeah.
And where I also said, like, I feel stuck and I don't know if I can stay in that.
Yeah.
But I could see, like, when you made a decision, I could completely understand where you were coming from. Because I see how, based on my fears, I pushed so much, and it was just like leading and putting you into this position where you felt completely trapped. Like, I love the example you brought up with the cave. Like you going into the cave and me running after you, but not even giving you, like pushing you so much more in the corner and not giving you the opportunity to come out of it again. And so the only way what you felt you could do was just like, okay, no.
Yeah, to lock the door.
Yeah.
And for those who don't know, like a cave is essentially me requiring space, me needing to go inward, me needing to like heal myself, protect myself, these kind of things. I mean, you just know when someone's just like, okay, I can't talk to you, I just need to be alone. And yeah, at a point where I felt, and this was also something that we talked about yesterday, that in you saying that you could see that I was receding into my cave and you chasing after me, and I just felt like I had to close the door.
Yeah, because this cave actually like triggered so much my fear of abandonment. So we were like spiraled up like in this cycle where...
But I also, so you can tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel like there were times where you would be really triggered and maybe you weren't so aware of it, but I could tell in retrospect that you in actuality needed time in your cave.
Yes.
And I also didn't feel comfortable in giving that to you. And maybe you were communicating that you didn't want it, but in reality, I mean, I think it's exactly the same thing was happening.
Yeah,
I was chasing you into the cave, and then when you spit fire at me, like a dragon does when you run into their cave, then I was hurt.
But you're so right, like in what you say, that at this time, I wasn't even so aware that I need this time to go into the cave. But yeah, luckily then we both got to learn this then through our breakup, that it is really important. And yeah, then when we broke up, I think we can both agree on that for both of us, just like felt like the world was collapsing.
Yeah, that felt like dying for sure.
It felt like dying, yes. There were moments where I've never felt so much pain in my life ever before, and there were moments where I felt so overwhelmed with those feelings. I felt my body was too weak to. I thought I would not survive it.
I remember even videos on this channel where I made sometimes in the throes of it, but I mean, I feel like there were just multiple times a day where it would just feel like I was getting hit by a truck, like I would collapse beneath the pain of it and feel like I couldn't move. There was so much pain and so much energy within that pain.
Wow, yes. It was, for me, it was also showing me that how huge and infinite this love is, because I know that with this intense kind of love also comes the same intensity of pain, and this is kind of the price you pay. And it was just showing me like, wow, yeah, this love goes really, really deep.
It's interesting because I don't even, now that I think more about it, I really don't see it as like a price you pay. I see it as more the energy you invest is what you pull out. I mean, it's like a stock or an account or something, you know? You invest all this energy and that energy matures. And when you pull it out, there's obviously equal amounts of energy. You don't put in $10,000 and then you pull out 100. And in that way of not looking at the pain as either good or bad, I see that there was so much love, that there was also so much energy that was released and expelled in those moments.
It's good that you say that, because the price you pay sounds maybe a little bit too like you sacrifice something.
Yeah.
But what then was happening, what we both were experiencing, like completely separate from each other, like having no contact, like not talking, was, I don't know, like also now looking back, just felt in a way like the greatest gift ever given to me, because we allowed ourselves to go through it. We both actually went into our caves and we're like, okay, I'm not gonna see anyone now. I will go now and grieve, and I will go now and allow myself to feel all of it, whatever that means. I did a lot of screaming. I have a whole video about this on my channel.
I was dancing 3 times a day, writing songs to help, screaming, all the things, everything.
Breathing and all this. And in this, still feeling completely overwhelmed, I could see how this thing needed to happen. Because it felt for me kind of like also this wake-up call of what you were saying, like, wait a sec. I abandoned myself so much. Like, I didn't show up for myself in just not a loving way. And it was just showing me where it's like, no, I don't want to, this is not how I want to treat myself. Like, I love myself so unconditionally, and I want to be there for me, and I want to give me the support in moments when I feel really afraid and when I feel triggered. So I personally started to just understand more parts of myself better, and to recognize them, to acknowledge them, and instead of trying to push them away so much because I think they're working against me, actually embracing them and work together with them as a team, and seeing that they're all there to help me and that they're all there to support me. But obviously we cannot work as a team if I try like fight them like all the time. And this just allowed me, obviously also learning for the first time more consciously, like how to regulate my nervous system. And I started doing a lot of breath work and shaking, and obviously dancing, and just chanting is helping me a lot in moments of being triggered. But I feel just this is not how I want to show up for myself, and this is the love I want to give to myself, allowed me to be able to do a 360 change in just 2 weeks.
Yeah, wow. It makes me really happy just hearing about your love for yourself and all your parts. And I think for me, I've definitely grieved in a lot of different ways before, and I've taken refuge in a lot of different places, and I can say that more than ever in this experience, I seized the opportunity to take refuge within myself and within art and within God. And in doing that, I feel I have created more safety and more clarity for myself than ever before. I took refuge in meditation and resting with my feelings and expressing them and sitting with them, and also talking intimately with them and all the parts that were not being listened to in this experience. I was able to form such deep relationships with them and not just speak to them, but also create art from those places, to express myself through dance in those places, to express myself in writing through those places. And also just, I felt a form of acceptance for myself that I'd never dared to feel before. And I think in this moment is when I really started to understand why I can't control the future. I can't control my life, and not only why it doesn't work, but I learned that I don't want to. I learned that I actually much, much prefer my future and all of my burdens and everything to be in God's hands and not mine. And I'm so grateful for that realization, because wow, life is so much lighter and easier this way, and so much more blissful. And God is a way better organizer than I could ever be. I tell you what, way better.
I love what you said in creating this art from those places, and I think it goes hand in hand what I was mentioning before, just like embracing all those parts and being with them and sitting with them and allowing them to come through the surface and dancing and you writing songs. And yeah, I think we could just both really feel that there was a lot of healing happening for us in making this decision. And then I had this feeling also, like, so often I was like, wow, even in absence and even in this most incredible pain, like us, or like something which is like in relation to our connection we had, and even if it's deciding not wanting to continuing it, pushed me to my best self. And this is why we also wanted to be in a relationship in the first place, because we said it brings us closer to one another and it brings us closer to God. And I'm really grateful that it happened. And this actually allowed us to meet again from another point of view, from another state of mind, from another state of being.
Yeah. It was very dramatic.
And I was like, what happened?
I was in Morocco for 2 weeks going through this, and you were in Berlin going through this, and then you came back, and the day you happened to fly back in, and we met up in the middle of the ocean on a rock surrounded by waves is on Valentine's Day.
I remember that morning I was like, wow, that's a perfect day to have this, because we met up with the intention of, okay, this is our closing conversation and we want to have closure for the relationship and the one we shared, and to be able to continue our lives with open hearts, and to let go of each other in peace. And I said, what a poetic day, or what a poetic time to do that on Valentine's Day.
Yeah, I think I could tell instantly upon seeing you how much you had just changed, how much more of yourself you seemed when I saw you, and in talking to you, and in feeling your energy and your presence. And I was really proud of myself because of all the love that I was able to approach that conversation with, and really, because I had been journaling a lot and trying to get to the center of how I felt and what I wanted to say, and I really felt like, just like a day before, I'd finally really been able to put into words how I felt. And that was a really beautiful meeting.
I think what I kind of want to wrap this up a bit, like where we're now and what actually allows us to be able to sit here now like this and to be able to share from a complete place of love. And I feel the biggest thing which helped us also in then after transforming ourselves and returning back to ourselves was letting each other go. And it's a practice we I feel are confronted with every day. We have now spent the past I don't know, 10 days together. We took it really slowly. We were both also in our own individual places, and we first like started meeting up like a few hours every day. But every day from new, we made this conscious decision, I let you go. And like I don't know, it feels for me, it feels like a bit like a miracle even. In this letting each other go was out of the sudden created such a spaciousness and so much expansion of love, because we stopped like holding on to each other, and we stopped wanting to control and wanting to keep this love we felt for each other so safe. And we started again from a place like how when we met, just like from complete abundance and love, without wanting to have any results, or without any expectations. And yeah, I feel this is just allowing us to just see each other in the here and now, and in a complete presence, how we're showing up.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like these past 10 days have shown me that we were together for about 3.5 months, and I feel grief, and I even feel a bit of shame in saying that I feel like I never really allowed myself to see you for that time. And yeah, it doesn't feel so great admitting that I never really allowed myself to see my girlfriend. Or I never really allowed us to see each other because I was so worried and so fearful.
And not just you, like now you're saying it, like I feel these are the perfect words for it. I also never allowed to see you. And I never allowed to see like past all these layers and past all the projections and all these fears.
And in seeing you, I feel so much more connected to you, so much safer, and so much
and this is
deeper love, a deeper form of love than I did before, which feels very paradoxical.
I was just gonna say that, like, it feels so paradox because it's like, how can I feel so much safety in letting you go?
Yeah.
It's like I'm struggling the past days, like my mind is really trying to catch up because it wants to hold on to a construct, like it wants to hold on to a certain, okay, I need to be in a relationship with you, like this is the only way how I can be safe. Whereas in reality, I mean, we read this like so many times. I read this growing up in poems or in novels. It's like true love means like letting each other go, and it's just like, oh yeah. But then when you actually need to do it, like it's the scariest thing ever.
It's funny because you read that and you're like, yeah, sure, of course that's true. And like, cause something in your being, it resonates like, yeah, that's true. But in practice, like, that is fucking ridiculous until you actually do it. And then, yeah. And honestly, I see that in letting you go, there's letting go of so many things that I can't just let you go, that it's a letting go of my attachment to fears, that it's my attachment to the future, of me trying to control and direct myself towards this specific future with this specific woman where we're doing this specific thing in this specific place. And letting that go, there's so much lightness and so much trust.
Yeah. And so much room for growth.
Yeah.
Like it can just, it's like not limiting anymore. And now we don't know.
Yeah.
We don't know.
Who knows?
We have no fucking idea. But what we know is that
I know I want to be here right now.
Yes, I know I want to be here.
I know this is
now,
where I want to be. So
in that very moment. And I know what I feel is pure unconditional love. And that feels good.
Yeah, that feels really good. I feel that also. And I'm aware of the fear. I can observe it. And I can hear the voices that I'm creating in my head from people in my life who aren't even necessarily saying it, but I'm just like, you're with your ex-girlfriend. You broke up 2 weeks ago, and now you're like spending all this time with her, and these kinds of things, or like these fears that you're regressing, or these fears that literally have nothing to do with this moment in time, which is that I feel so safe and so loved and so exactly where I need to be. And I also completely open to that changing if that's what God's plan is, because I know my life is just God communicating to me in different ways. But I just know clearly that's not the plan right now, because
And we trust.
Yeah.
And we
this is where I need to be.
I love you.
Love you too.